Which is why the media is so biased.
That's what I'm saying. That if I want you to believe something, right, I put it out there, and I keep repeating it. You know what? And we was talking about before you come in. Ray Rice's situation with his wife.
Sure.
How much times are you going to show me Ray Rice coming out of dragging his wife out of the elevator? How much times are you going to show me that? After a while, people started to say, "Oh my God, that Ray Rice, man, he's the worst thing. He's so bad. Look at him." And I was telling Dalton, there was this judge in Alabama. He beat his wife worse than what Ray Rice did. You didn't hear anything about it in the media.
Of course.
Right? So the media keep repeating it over and over and over. Hey, listen, the woman married the guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and obviously, since we know each other on a personal note, I mean, I talk to you about this all the time. You know, the media is a very powerful tool, and a lot of people don't have the proper knowledge, unfortunately, to think for themselves. So they watch the news to have them told what's going on. And you're not going to see everything. Of course, you're not going to see things that happen. There are international atrocities that happen all the time that are committed by America, and we're never going to see that on TV, obviously. And you're going to have to dig and dig and dig to find it out. But there are atrocities that happen to women in the Army all the time that we don't find out about. But you have to dig and dig and dig to find it out, and those people don't have any sort of punishment or anything. But what I'm saying, my point being, is that those are things that the media misses, and you wonder why. And I mean, it's obvious why.
They missed it conveniently. Now Dalton was telling me that some of the same problems we have with police arresting black folks, they have the same problem in England.
Sure, but it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be. The number of fatalities aren't going to be as high.
No, because we don't have as much guns. It's only, as we said to your dad, it's only special forces which should have guns.
Exactly.
But there has been cases where white police have killed black members of the population. Not justifiable in the long term, but the media will always side on the police. Doesn't matter what the case is. They'll always side on the side of the police. But there's the unfairness of the media, as Malcolm was just saying, is what you take from what you hear, what you read, and so forth. Now, as long as you're intelligent enough, you can analyze the information. But for the very whatever percentage of the ones who are just led by what they read, that's where the prejudice comes in.
It's a large percent.
Yeah, and that's where we suffer because of that prejudice. We could go down south. I mean, I don't know the whole country south, but you could go.
You could go down south.
You could go to
You're right.
You could go into certain parts.
Yeah.
And you're looked upon as a villain before you open your mouth. You take your wallet out or whatever, because of what the stereotype in the media, and so the media has to be held responsible. Now, how do you control the media? Do you have an organization which says you can report this in a factual way, and if you report it in an unfactual way, then you have to be penalized in some way? But once you've said it, if you said the sun has set, the sun has set. They can't retract it, but it's already out there. But there have to be somewhere to be penalized for saying a lot of lies.
There was a situation with Adrian Peterson, where Adrian Peterson beat his 4-year-old son. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But there was a big picture that the media missed. In the United States of America, we talked about, in the black family, we talk about the absentee dad. You talk about the black dad being absent from the household, right? Here we have a professional player who is present in his household. He's present there for his wife. Yes, he whipped him and he shouldn't have done it, and he apologized for it. But the media never ever talked about, you know something? Here we have a black father who is there for his kids. He's there. He's not absent. Yeah. You know, even though the corporal punishment, he went overboard, but he's actually there for his kids, and they missed that whole picture. Yeah. They missed that picture. But the picture they want to give you is that, yo, Adrian Peterson, he's a child abuser. You know what? The NFL should take away his job. Right. And all the rights organization come out and say, yes, we against Adrian Peterson. Take away his job. Ban him from the NFL. And then in the reverse, next they're going to tell you, see those black households? They have these absentee father. What do you think about that? You see how the media portray stuff a certain way they want it.
Yeah, they do it. And they'll continue doing it.
And they don't want to try to look for, wow, man, that guy was there for his son. You know what? And I use myself as an example. Man, my mother used to whip my behind so bad. I tell you, if my mother was in America, she might have made about 50 jails. she would have. They have an organization in America called Die First. You know, they would have had a new organization, Die For Us, because she I tell you, listen, I got so much whooping. I mean, I got tied to trees, I got beat with rope, spoon, I got beat with, and I was telling my coach, let me tell you this. They talk about corporal punishment. You know what we used to have to do? I used to have to kneel on a grater. You know the grater that you grate cheese with? We had the big ones. You had to kneel on it, and you have 2 rocks up in the air like this. And you have a 5-pound here and a 5-pound there, like lifting weights. And you have to keep it up in the air, man. And as soon as you come down, you whap! You go head up like that. And you know, child abuse. They call that child abuse. So for me, I should have been a problematic person as an adult.
Exactly. But you didn't.
I should have been abusing you as a dad because of what my single mother did because of me. Yeah. The bad behavior that I had. Yeah. I thought I was a rebel without a cause. Yeah. And here we have Adrian Peterson being there for his son, and the media, man. Oh, that guy is the day before that, he's the best running back. Oh, yeah. Right? And one other one. There's a new word the media calls black professional players. Oh, yeah. It's called thug. When I don't want to call you, I don't want to call you the N-word, I call you a thug. Yeah, he's a thug. Yeah. I would say, you from urban inner city. You from urban America inner city. Think about it. When they tell you from urban to inner city, right away, people know that he black. If it's a thug, you know, he's got to be a black person. And these are the things the media do. And we have to understand. I heard a guy on ESPN, man, calling one of these black professional players, he's a thug. He's a thug. He's no good. Well, we know we had that with Richard Sherman. When they called Richard Sherman a thug, right? He played for the Seattle Seahawks. They won the Super Bowl. Yeah. And he said something. He's a thug. The guy's Stanford educated, very educated guy. So he said to them, he says, in ice hockey, when the players are brutalizing each other, being bloodied, they are not thugs. They're just playing a game. He didn't brutalize nobody. He didn't curse at nobody, but he's a thug.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks. Yeah. How do we change those mindsets? How do we change those guys to tell them, listen, man, you can't be calling kids a thug. You know, what about because you on TV, because you on radio, because you on ESPN, you taking liberty for your mouth to call someone a thug?
That's what I'm saying. They need to be accountable for what they say. Mm-hmm. They need to be accountable for all that, because that stereotypes, worldwide, who we are, what we are, and we can't keep tolerating it. That's why, going back to what I said earlier, there's going to be a time when people are going to say enough is enough, because the media is against us, the police are against us, corporate, whether it's corporate,
the government is against us,
or corporate UK is against us, and the reality is, why are they against us, and what we're going to do about it? You know, because are we going to stand by and be abused, or are we going to get up off our butts and start doing things for ourselves and change the world?
Well, we could suffer peacefully, you know. We could suffer like,
we
don't
want to
we could do this peaceful march. And
maybe we should have our own media.
You know, listen, in this country we had BET at one time.
Yeah. BET's a joke.
And then BET basically, but you know, a lot of the black organizations have sold out to white corporations, right?
Well, we live in a capitalist society.
So like the NAACP, the Urban League, the Black Caucus, they have all sold out to the white corporations.
Sure.
And so wait, you're supposed to defend black issues. Like what I think it's the Urban League, I think. They are backing Monsanto. Monsanto is the company with GMOs that affects black people, genetically modified foods. And that affects black people the most. And we have a black organization backing them and saying what they're doing is good because they have made a significant donation to the organization. Remember the NAACP out in LA? Donald Sterling made $1 million donation to the NAACP, and they were going to give him an award before all this stuff came out. And they said, you know, it's like...
Yeah, but the corporate world is a vicious monster.
Yeah,
you know, as long as they're making money, the shareholders are happy, they don't care.
Exactly. That's what it comes down
That's what
to.
it comes down
it's
to.
very,
they don't care.
I feel that
whether it's here or abroad, they honestly don't care.
I feel like to its core, it's a very simple concept. And
what was that?
I said to its core, it's a very simple concept. It boils down to money.
Yeah.
So you gave those examples, and it's no different than government. I gave you the example of someone running for president. They need money to fund their campaign. They get money from people who already have a lot of money, and then when they have moved into a place of power, then those people with money have now want something in return.
Yeah.
And most of the times they get it. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the NAACP and Donald Sterling. But see, now the thing I would say is that when you're speaking, I make connections in my head, but that's just the way I think. So I make a connection that you say NAACP, and you talk about Donald Sterling, and I make that connection to the government and someone running for campaign and him getting money to become whatever leading officer or whatever leading role he gets put into power, and then therefore he then needs to do whatever will make his investor happy. And I mean, it's interconnected, so it's not that surprising. I think the first step is that black people and anyone who feels that they're being oppressed needs to stop being surprised. It's not it's not surprising anymore.
Well, that's true. That's true. You said that. We said that. I wasn't surprised by the Ferguson verdict.
I was telling you before about the Ferguson verdict that, you know, and I gave you a historical example. I said the LA riots was a very similar thing with Don King.
Yeah.
Rodney King.
I always say a different King. I don't know why I do that.
Don King is the boxing promoter.
Yeah, Don King.
He's here. He got mugged.
Yeah, I can't forget Don King. You know, knowing that.
Rodney King.
Rodney King.
That's
yeah.
his name. He should be memorable, but unfortunately for me, he's not. The same thing happened to him, and same verdict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that too.
LA riots. History tends to repeat itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is something that's not surprising at all. I don't see how. So if you look at it, really, technically speaking, black people have not progressed in their tactics to try and get anything done. Think about it.
Yeah.